clicked on this video, it is because that you are thinking about starting a new business. However, you are also working full time, which honestly, congratulations. I have done it twice and I am here to show you 10 tips on how you can do it successfully. Let's get into it. What's up, y'all? I'm Ashleyjanelle. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Like I mentioned, today we are talking all about what it's like when you are starting a new business, but you are also working full time. And I'm here to tell you that I have done this twice, which is why I have 10 tips for you that will help you get started. So just before we go ahead and get right into it, I just want to give you some context to the businesses that I've started while I have been working a full-time job. So back in 2013, I started an e-commerce Greek apparel clothing line that I closed about 7 years later. It was a great business, but it was just time for me to close it. And then in 2018, I started a coaching business that turned into a full-time boot camp. And then in 2018, I started a user experience design coaching business. It was a mentorship business that evolved very quickly into a 16-week boot camp that helps aspiring UX designers go from beginner to experienced in their landing jobs at big tech companies, startups, and everywhere in the middle. So that's just a little context about me and the businesses that I have started. But now let's get into the 10 tips that I have for you as you embark on this entrepreneurship journey. So the first and honestly the most important tip that I have for you, someone who is looking to start a new business, but you are also working a full-time job. If you hear nothing else that I say, my tip, the first tip, is going to be, before you embark on this entrepreneurship journey, make sure, hands down, that you are in great standing at your current company and in your current role. I will say it again. Make sure that you are in great standing at your company and in your current role. If you are just getting started at a brand new company, this is totally up to you, but I'm not sure that's the time to start a brand new business at the same time. The reason why is probably because of the one that you can think of. Most of the time, our full-time jobs are what allow us to do things like live and pay our bills and afford our lifestyles and things like that. And when you start a business, it is very, very time consuming, especially if you are someone who is going to be running that business during work hours. Okay, so that means that you have laptop A over here and you have laptop B over here. You really have to make sure that you can do your job forwards and backwards and forwards, and that you come up with a system so that your side hustle or your side business does not affect your full-time job. That is hands down the first thing. I honestly don't care what anybody says. Your job is your livelihood. Most of the time, for right now, right? Most of the time, us, people who work full-time jobs, our full-time job is what is funding our side business and our side passion. So you have to make sure that that money is going to be consistent and it's going to be continuing to roll in, and you have to make sure that you are comfortable in your role before you start something else. That is paramount, okay? It is paramount. So that is tip number one. If you, again, don't hear anything else that I say, make sure that you are in great standing and that you feel very comfortable at your full-time job, and then give yourself permission to work on your side project. So again, if you hear nothing else that I say, make sure that you are in great standing at your company. Make sure that you feel comfortable and confident in that role and that is stable before you start to work on this side passion. You really, especially if you are, again, like I said, doing things during work hours, you want to make sure that you know how to get the job done quickly and easily, or whatever it is that you can do, and then you take the rest of the time to work on your business. That's your business, however you want to, we'll talk about scheduling in a second, but really want to make sure that you guys are comfortable in your role and you're in great standing. So that just brings me right into the next point, which is getting a schedule. Trying to find and get on a good schedule for yourself while you have a full-time job and you're working on building a side business is going to be so important. So oftentimes what I see and kind of what I've done is you work your 9 to 5, and then after work you are doing something for the business. You are also using your weekends to work on your business. So making sure that you have a schedule for that. Also making sure that you are scheduling in time for things like leisure, like vacations, like hanging out with friends and doing things like that. Making sure that you have some sort of a schedule is really, really going to be key to keeping you accountable to doing what you say that you want to do, which is to build this business. It gets really, really hard sometimes when we are just tired at the end of the day from our full-time job, from just the day in general, and then you have more work to do because you are so passionate about building this business. So getting a schedule that works for you, testing it out, tweaking things is really, really, really going to be instrumental to your success as a new business owner. The next tip that I have for you guys, and this is so, so important, specifically when you work a full-time job. Make sure that you stay as organized as possible. I cannot tell you how important organization is. So what do I mean by that? One of the ways that you can stay organized is after you have worked, let's say you have, it's 9:00 and you're going to close your laptop at the end of the day from working on your business. Make sure that you know what you're going to be working on tomorrow. So, write down what didn't I get to today that I wanted to, or what's something that I want to look into today that I didn't get a chance, or I want to look into tomorrow that I didn't get a chance to today. And make sure that you have that as a note for yourself so that when you come back, you're not spending an hour trying to figure out, okay, where did I leave off? Okay, what is it that I need to do? Because not only does that take up time, but it also demotivates us and it puts us in a state of, you know what, I just spent an hour trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to work on today. I'm actually just going to go lay on the couch and do nothing. So make sure that you always have a running list of to-dos, and make sure that that list is always handy for you so that when you do have free time, you can pick it right up and you know where you need to jump in for your business. I think I already talked about this one a little bit, but I just want to hone in on the fact that taking time for yourself is going to be very instrumental to running a business and also working full time. As you can imagine, it is already a lot working a full-time job. However, now you are adding in something else, building a business. So make sure that you schedule things like vacations, time off, to just do nothing. Like, don't schedule that time off to also go work. Like, schedule that time to just be off. Schedule massages or schedule in your workouts or whatever it is that you need to do. Maybe it's taking a walk every day. Whatever it is that you need to do to stay sane, to stay healthy, to stay active. Make sure that you are scheduling that in. When you just become kind of like a hermit, and we've all gotten into this at one point or another, where we're just on our computers doing what we need to do for work or what have you, and then we close the laptop and we pick it up and we do the same thing the next day, and we haven't done anything for ourselves. We haven't stopped to enjoy ourselves. We haven't done anything outside of work. And we know how that feels when we get to that point, and then we start to be resentful of our business, of our full-time jobs, of people around us. And it's really because we need to just take the time for ourselves to do something else. So make sure that you are also scheduling in that time. So another thing that I really want you guys to think about as you are working on your business plans and actually thinking about your business is you want to create a short-term vision and a long-term vision for your company. Your short-term vision is going to be very, very important because that is what you are going to work off of first in order to really get those quick wins for your business. So things like, what do I need to do to get my website up, because that's how I'm going to be selling product? Who is my manufacturer going to be? How am I going to actually do marketing? Things like that. Like, how do I get my domain? What is my domain actually going to be? Those very quick things that are going to make you feel good and make you feel like your business is going in the right direction, those are going to be paramount, and that is part of the short-term vision. So really making sure that you understand what those quick wins are going to be for yourself is going to be what is going to shape that short-term vision. And again, kind of going back to making a list of things that we need to work on, that is how you develop that list for those quick wins. So the next tip that I have for you guys is to not be in a rush to quit your full-time job. Yes, the reason why we create side hustles and passion projects and we want to start companies and businesses is because we are so passionate about them and it's what we want to do full time at some point. However, we have to make sure that we are taking the correct steps and giving our businesses time to grow and to evolve and to develop and to change, and for outside forces to affect our business. That's very, very important, right? It's easy to see some instant success in our business and say, oh wow, I am making the money that I thought that I would never see, or maybe I'm making enough money to quit my full-time job, whatever that number is for you. But you really want to go through different seasons in your business, and like seasons literally and figuratively. You want to make sure that you are on this journey with your business and making sure that you have framed your mind and you have perspective that it is not all about, everything isn't all about quitting your job. Like, yes, that may be what you want to get to, and I totally understand that, but we have to make sure that we are doing that at the right time and within reason, especially when there are things like recessions that are looming and things like that. Making sure that your business is recession proof is also something that you may want to work on. Again, going through different seasons with your business and in your business is going to be key for you feeling comfortable enough to take that leap and quit your job. So the next tip that I have for you is to cut out all of your distractions. If your distraction is TikTok, if your distraction is going to brunch and getting phone calls from your friends because they want to go out to eat, and you know that you should be head down in your computer, or that you should be studying something, or you should be learning about a new, part of your business, or you should be sitting down with a contractor, you are going to have to say no to a lot of things, and you are going to have to cut out those distractions, and you are going to have to be disciplined because no one else is going to do it for you. It's a very quick and dry, cut and dry, quick tip, but please start to identify what your distractions are. We all have them. Cell phones, a huge distraction. So start to really cut out those distractions, because you will notice that once you start to do that, how much time you get back that you can put into your business and not necessarily be rushing at the last minute to do something or feeling overwhelmed because you have planned out your day and you have started to cut out different things from your life that don't necessarily serve you in this season. Now, I'm not saying that you should never show up to brunch or dinner with your friends, or you should not go on that vacation or anything like that. We just talked about balance, right? But a lot of times some of these things are leisure. They are leisure. You don't have to necessarily say yes to every dinner invite. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, yes, we want to make sure that we are still being social and we're, doing other fun things and things that are totally unrelated to our business and to work. But sometimes these things can be distractions. So it's just important to recognize when those things do become distractions and are becoming distractions, and to simply start to cut them out. So the next tip is one that you may have heard before, but I just want to reiterate it, and that is, a lot of times we think that we are going to leave our jobs because, we don't want to answer to anyone, or we don't want to have a manager, or we don't want to have a boss, or we don't want to have someone telling us what to do. And I'm just here to tell you, as someone who has run a product-based business and a service-based business, that your customers and your clients are now the people that you will be answering to. So you will always be answering to someone. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? If you are a business owner, you want to create an honest business, an ethical business. So you want your clients and your customers to be happy with the product or the service that you are giving them. So, you want them to tell their friends, and you want them to, you want to have repeat customers and word of mouth and things like that. So you have to be held accountable for the things that you say that you are going to deliver. So I just want to put that into perspective, because I hear that a lot. I want to leave my job because I don't want a manager, I don't want a boss. Your clients and your customers will become your boss. Another kind of in that same vein, one thing that I want to just remind us is that while we are on this entrepreneurship journey, a lot of times we'll say things like, I want to leave my 9 to 5 because I don't want to work every day, or I don't want to work for 8 hours a day. I just want to kind of, maybe work 4 hours a day here. And, I want to remind all of us that when we start businesses, you are on 24/7. You are on, especially when you're a solopreneur and there is no one else to really bounce ideas off of, or no one else to carry the workload. you are on 24/7. And so if you thought that you are going to be quitting your job at some point to work less, I just want to let you know that you will more than likely be working more. And that is, at least until you get into a good groove. Maybe you do some hiring, maybe you bring in some contractors, what have you, get into a schedule that allows you to not necessarily work so much. But just one thing to keep in mind, and maybe just kind of add some context to actually what it's like to run that business. And the last thing that I want to just impart on you before we end here is just that running a business is hard. And that's why everyone doesn't do it. That's why everyone can't do it. Running a business is difficult. It is difficult to do when you are working a full-time job specifically. You're working a full-time job, you have, friends, you have, your partner, you have kids, you have, a life. Running a business is not an easy thing to do. So give yourself grace, give yourself the space that you need to grow and learn and evolve and come into this season of being an entrepreneur and working a full-time job. Be easy with yourself. There are going to be times when you are going to be like, why did I do this? Why did I start this? Why did I tell people that I was going to do this? I don't want to do this anymore. And then you're going to have moments when you're like, oh, that's why I decided to do this. This is super rewarding. I'm seeing, the value. I'm getting the return that I was looking for. So just hang in there and just remember that entrepreneurship is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and it is a journey. Specifically when you are working a full-time job and you have to balance different things during the day, different things during your week. You have to compartmentalize and have one side of your brain that's thinking about this, the other side of your brain that's thinking about that. So just give yourself grace in this season, and I wish you much success. You can do it. I'm rooting for you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments down below. I can't wait to read them. If you have any other topics with entrepreneurship, running a business, let me know what you want me to talk about. I'd love to do another video on this and kind of continue this series. So yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys do, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.